Hello and welcome to the Body Love Revolution online summit, building a better relationship with your body. Today, I have got the lovely Elle Mcbride with me. I'm going to share a little bit about Elle. Our beautiful Elle is a true trailblazer in the world of trauma education and holistic healing. As one of the first women globally trained and certified in havening techniques, she's a practitioner, a trainer, and Elle brings a wealth of expertise in NeuroSelf Care, a groundbreaking approach that nurtures both mind and body. Guided by faith and a deep commitment to transformation, she empowers others through one-on-one sessions, group work, and workshops, infusing every interaction with inspiration and support. Please join me in welcoming Elle. Hello.
Oh, hello. What an introduction. Thank you so much.
Oh, Elle, it's so lovely to have you here. We have recorded a podcast together. I have experienced your havening technique. And when I was putting together this Body Love Revolution online summit, all about building a better relationship with your body. And when I say body, it's body and self, really, but the focus is body. And you're one of the first people that came to mind because of your beautiful gentleness and let's call it your truth speaking and your approach to healing and self-care and all the things you bring to the table. So I wanted to jump straight in and ask you, can you share a personal experience of rebuilding your relationship with your body? But before you answer that, I feel like, are you happy to share what havening technique is, and then perhaps we'll move into, just so our listeners, in case they don't know what it is, so they have a little bit of an understanding about what you do in the world, and then we'll move to the question, a personal experience about building your own relationship with your body. But if you can start there, Al, I would love that.
Yeah. So havening techniques is a psychosensory therapy. So where we would have other therapies like talk therapy, where we're using communication, or we would have pharmacology, where we would use medication as a form of wellness. And we have psychosensory, so using the body to change the way that we feel. So havening is using, again, the body, but specifically touch to change the way that our chemicals in our brain respond. So I really found this out of my own personal journey. I know we spoke about that a little bit on the podcast as well. Plug that one there. But for us, we're working directly with the mind, body, and our soul. This part of us, but specifically looking through the lens of trauma and neuroscience in order to create those changes. To speak into my own relationship with my body, and I suppose like a personal experience. I grew up with a mum who was very much, she was alive through the late 70s and early 80s, where it was, a full focus on body image. And so being raised by a mum who to me was the most beautiful woman in the world, she was very active, she was very fit and healthy, but whenever she would try on a pair of jeans, she'd ask if, me, a small child, if she looked fat, or she wouldn't eat certain things. She wouldn't make certain food. She'd cook food for us and then eat something different herself. And I really had this like lens of like, but you are so beautiful and you treat yourself so poorly. So I don't really feel like I never had an unpleasant relationship with my body, because I had witnessed unpleasant relationships. But in turn, I never really learned to love my body the way that it was. I just learned to accept it, that I couldn't really create change, that I didn't really have control over it, that my body was almost like there was a disconnect from it, of being like, I didn't want to be like my mum and not like my body. So I learned to love it in a very unique way. But have I necessarily taken care of my body? Well, no, but I've learned to listen to it, and I've learned to work with my body. And that's why I love the havening technique so much, because we actually learn how to run the program that's running the body. So you know, the work of Louise Hay or Annette Noontil, you know, where the body keeps the score, that the body is holding on to and constantly communicating with us. So now my relationship with my body is so much better. But had you have asked me even 5 years ago, I was, you know, self-love with my body had never even not been considered, because all I ever knew was if I didn't feel the way that I felt, I would then want to change something. And I just learned to not want to change my body. But there's impacts with that as well. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah.
It is a big topic, and I do believe our mums do influence us, right, wrong, good, bad. It just is an influence, and it just is a description. So watching your mum through your earlier years, what would you, if you now as an adult woman, what would you like to go back and say to your mum? Because when you're little and your mum's asking you these things and you're just witnessing her pain and watching her eat different foods, what would you like to say to your mum?
Yeah. I would, oh gosh, I would have havened her, that's for sure. I would have sat her down and made her work through her thing. She now since has she's got a you know, a much better relationship with her body and with her mind now as well. And that's been because I've done the work on myself, that I've given her permission to do it too. So I suppose I would have just gone back and just told her that she was enough the way that she was, and that she didn't need to change. And you know, her body was, you know, as she'd be up at 4 o'clock in the morning, walking by, you know, 4:15, getting in, you know, you didn't count steps back then, but, you know, kilometers, and with her best friend. And you know, they were known as the two girls that went walking every morning. People knew them because they were just walking up and down the coastal town that I lived in. And so I really would have, you know, let her know that the things that she's trying to, you know, work through, because you know, when, and I see it so often now with my clients, is that, you know, you can go to the gym every day, you can eat all of the food, you can do all of the practices, but if you don't like who you are, or you've got responses like fight, flight, freeze, fawn, disassociation, if you've got high cortisol, because high cortisol, when we have a high level of cortisol in our body will go into survival, and it will actually store any fat that we have, because it thinks, I'm going to need and I'm going to require this. So when we have high cortisol, we're not actually in a space where we can reduce our percentage of body fat that we have, weight loss. And so for it, I really would have gone back and told her that it was time to work on the things that she was carrying, because it wasn't that she was carrying weight, it was that she was carrying trauma, and her body was responding to those patterns. So would have really encouraged her to work on those patterns, so the body could then no longer keep the score, and she probably would have had a much better relationship with her body, because her body would have looked like what society or culture, or you know, would have said it needed to. Yeah, that's what I would have sat her down and had a bit of a tough conversation.
Yeah, and that message, what you would say to your mum now, is potentially what our women listening now need to hear, because exactly what you're saying, Elle. Yes, movement and what we put in our mouth is of value to be mindful of, but it really is the mindset, the trauma, the story we tell ourselves. Because how many times have we chatted to someone and this is probably a strong word, but it's almost like body dysmorphia. They will describe themselves as, and this has been my own experience, back when I look at photos when I was in my 30s, even my early 40s, I had labeled myself as a bigger girl, but actually I was a mid-sized woman. But I had almost this body dysmorphia. Now it would be fair to say I'm a bigger girl, and that's the truth now, because now I have a fair perception of what I actually look like. But back then, I think that's the thing here, is our mindset, or the, you know, the lens in which we see ourselves is often quite distorted. And then we're doing these things to try and hold everything together, like, you know, the crazy exercise regimes or the deprivation of food or the depriving or the whatever we do, when I believe, and I'm pretty sure you agree here, is starting with the internal traumas or the self or undoing the stories is a great place to start. So with havening, I mean, I've experienced diet and I do know how wonderful this feels. Elle, if someone comes to you with perhaps a really rough relationship with their body, how does havening, because like you already said, it's not necessarily talk therapy, so it's not even about talking. Can you just talk us through perhaps, and maybe even a past client who's maybe had a tough relationship with their body, how havening weaves its beautiful healing to release that torment that we
Yeah.
have?
Yeah. Well,
And maybe torture is the right word, because it is torturous when you are doing this to yourself. It is a form of torture, in my opinion. Yeah.
yeah. Well, you know, we look at trauma as being like big events, but trauma can actually be accumulative. It can be unresolved emotions. It can be the pressure to like hold it all together. Where when we ignore trauma, we end up with anxiety, burnout, chronic pain, emotional disconnection. And so what havening really does is it's again a psychosensory therapy. So it's a form of therapy with a different techniques within it. So havening touch, and then the techniques of like the protocols that we use within sessions. And so this is about recalibrating encoded memory that we have, or and enabling individuals to live in the present or overcome the past. And it can happen really quite rapidly within a session. So somebody might come to me, would you say, with distorted eating, and we're looking at, well, where are the patterns? Where have they come from? Why do we have this belief? What's the issue necessarily going on for the client, where they've created this belief about themselves? Because we don't end up at, you know, at Z if we've not gone from A and gone through the alphabet. Yeah. So it's a process. And so sometimes with body dysmorphia, it is multi-layered. It's not just, oh, this one thing happened and from that moment I was changed. So we do have to take a slightly more adaptive approach for the individual, because no one person, you know, I've worked with many clients with bulimia, anorexia, body dysmorphia, you know, the overeating, you know, addiction with food, but I've never worked with one client with the same approach. We need an individual approach per person. You know, if you get on, I think they call it Fit Talk, the fitness side of TikTok, and if you get on the wrong side of that, the messages that you're being sent could be really harmful. Now, we won't talk about what, you know, age bracket you sit in, but you spoke about in your 40s and in your 30s. And so it's also looking at, okay, if you were to jump on, just say Fit Talk, or, you know, what would have been, you know, Weight Watchers in the 90s, and gone, that is a programming that you're receiving. Now, that program isn't going to work for everybody. That one message isn't going to work for everybody. For women, we're told, you know, weigh yourself once a week, weigh yourself every day, weigh yourself morning and night, don't weigh yourself at all. These are different approaches that are going to work for different people in different seasons. What worked for you in your 30s isn't going to work for you now. You've worked on regulating your nervous system and finding self-love, whether or not that was in the simple things like running a bubble bath and reading you know, a daily affirmation, or whether or not that was going and doing the deep trauma work and exploring your authenticity. Because for yourself now, you can be in this place and go, oh, I can look at myself in the mirror and I know what I see. And I like what I see, and I like who I'm becoming. And I understand that today's food is tomorrow's body, or today's exercise is next month's body, or whatever format works for you in your belief, in order for you to take care of yourself and not punish yourself. So the relationship with our body and culture around our body says, you know, the way that you treat it will reflect what, you know, the perception of what other people have of it. It's not necessarily true. I was always told my whole life, probably the one compliment that I most received in my like teens and 20s was I could wear a paper bag and still look good. Yeah. Now that isn't necessarily true, that I could wear a paper bag and make it look good. But I knew very early on that it wasn't about what I wore, what my body shape was, what color my hair was, how I did my, you know, eye makeup. It was how I felt. It was a confidence that I had that made people go, wow, you know, she's in the room. I had an ability to do this, and I was struggling so deeply with my mental health that it was, to me, that was my survival mechanism, to be the most confident person in the room when truly I was riddled with anxiety. And so for us, we've got these perceptions of other people. We've got what we think people are perceiving us as, and then we've got our own perception of ourselves. And this is all in the mind. But the mind is then controlling the body.
Yeah.
So do we then control the body, or do we learn to collaborate with our mind? And so far, it's been body, 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 and not the mind. We get the mind into play. The body's like, oh, okay. One simple thing on this. So marketing, we understand marketing. And, you know, as a child, I sat in that many Weight Watchers meetings. I heard it all. And so I wasn't in the meeting for myself. I was there for my mum. And I think she was trying to like program me early on as well. But the amount of times that I have seen lose 10 kilos, lose weight, let go of 10 kilos in 60 days, lose the weight. You've got to lose weight. You know, we sign up to the gym to lose weight. Now, I can tell you that if I lose my car keys, I'm not very happy about it. And I try and find them. Yeah. I lost my AirPods recently. I went on a hunt. I turned the house upside down to find my AirPods. Yeah. Then I found one of them in the washing machine, and it must have been in a pair of tights. Right. I did find it. Right. I found the case, and then I found the solo one that was missing. I searched high and low to find it. So what do you think our body does when we're trying to tell it to lose weight? I lost 10 kilos. I lost 10 kilos. I'm in the process of losing weight. Our mind, as you said, goes and tries to find it. This is why when we lose 10 kilos, we put 15 on. Yeah. The weight loss industry isn't designed for us to lose weight and maintain it, right? So when we're in that, we go, well, what's the opposite, Elle? Okay, I'm shredding weight. I'm letting go of weight. I'm releasing this weight. I'm saying goodbye to it forever. Yeah. This weight will no longer have a hold of me. And the body goes, oh, okay. Oh, you don't want it. Okay, well, I'll just get rid of it. Right. Again, there's other processes. We need to drop our cortisol and the adrenaline. We need to increase the serotonin, the oxytocin, those feel-good chemicals. And that takes action, as well as it taking, you know, an ability to communicate with ourselves that we want more for ourselves.
You're absolutely right, Elle. That little switch in the language and the mind, and just like you say, that's innate in us. If I've lost something, I must find it, because I've labeled that I've lost it and it's perceived to be missing from me and I need it. That is great, that mindset shift. And I also, what I've been learning lots about, exactly like you said, marketing, which the diet culture industry is not designed in helping us keep it off, because the industry will just be then gone, and it's all focused around body. And the other beautiful thing that I've been learning lately, because of course we have a new wave, and I haven't quite decided, because I always know everything is in perfect harmony, and I believe in divine timing, and I believe in divinity. And, you know, recently we're hearing lots about Ozempic and the diet injection, which people are having perceived great results. But what I also know to be true is how we release it is how we keep it off. And I know from my own experience, I too have sat in hundreds of Weight Watchers meetings. I've done Jenny Craig, I've done it all. But there's always been part of me that has felt like I cannot hold that tension, because how I've released it or how I've lost it would be the language of Weight Watchers and Jenny Craig and the others. I've always felt like it's never actually, I gave my power away. So for me too, would you also say it's fair to say that in building this relationship with our body, the moment we give our power away, let's say we pay money over to Weight Watchers, to, let's call it Ozempic, let's call it Jenny, let's call it anything where we have just handed our power away, then the relationship with the body, and this is my words, is compromised.
Yeah.
What do you say in terms of what you know around this beautiful NeuroSelf Care and our relationship with mind, body, soul connection? What do you say about that?
Yeah, well, you can pay somebody. You know, I've gone through seasons of having PTs and, you know, going to the gym and, you know, but you can pay a gym membership, but then you've got to go.
Yeah.
So it's that self-accountability. And a question that I love to ask myself is, what do I need right now? What do I need right now? Because when we are in survival, that's when we're you know, that mammalian brain, that brain that requires connection in order for survival, then we are needy creatures. Yeah. And so we're always looking for a way to ignore our exhaustion and our anxiety and to find safety. But what we do is that we go, oh, I'll go to that meeting. I'm taking an action, but in the action, there isn't always going to be your needs being met. So we think it's a need being met, but sometimes it isn't. Sometimes instead of going for the 3-hour walk, we actually need to have some rest. Yeah. Sometimes instead of going and doing the high intensity, which is going to increase your cortisol, we actually need to just lay down and breathe, or to not take our phone and our AirPods and just go to a local beach and leave everything in the car and go for a gentle walk where our feet are hitting the sand. Yeah. And we get that beautiful magnesium from the water. We get the vitamin D from the sun. Yeah, so there can be, it's changing that relationship and going, what do I need in this moment? NeuroSelf Care has shown me that what healing happens when we give our body that chance to release the stored stress. Yeah. So grounding activities, again, walking along the beach, gentle touch at different places, self-massage, breathing. Our body knows how to heal. Right? Our body knows what to do, but we're not getting into that what in Havening techniques we call the delta brainwave, our slowest brainwave that we have, in order to get that support. Now, hypnotherapy uses alpha brainwave, which is one above delta, yeah, where you can start to reprogram your mind. I'm a trained hypnotherapist. I enjoy hypnotherapy. I think it's a wonderful tool, but it's not going to heal what's going on for us. It will change our focus, right? So it can change our belief about our appearance, or our belief about our motivation, our belief around productivity. But when we're wanting to recalibrate that internal safety mechanism, that deep trust within ourselves, that trust within our body, we need to go deeper.
That is a great question to ask yourself. What do I need right now? Because if we are giving our power away and listening to, let's say, diet culture or gym, or what did you call it? Fit Talk. I love it, which is go pound the footpath, no sweat, no, what's it, all the slogans that we hear, no pain, no gain, all of that. When sometimes it might be my cortisol levels, it would not matter even if I was to pound the footpath and do all that right now, my cortisol levels are going to hold on to any excess that I have right now because it's not safe. So it's even, yes, like listening to yourself, but this is what the diet culture has done so beautifully is almost, well, I'm going to speak from my experience, you actually can't be trusted with your body. So we are not going to ask you what you need. I'm going to tell you what you need because I've already given my power away, when it's the absolute opposite. And I love that I'm learning this now, because honestly, Elle, I would have been that woman where you meet me at 70, I still would have been doing every diet under the sun, and probably with more weight than I would have ever had, because I would never have given up. Where I'm loving this realization around nervous system and realization around taking my power back. So beautiful. And eyes up, ears up. I always say that, looking at the bullshit around me of marketing and going, hang on a moment, because I know that there is more, because I'm a smart woman. If I had stuck to these diets and was able to stick to these diets, I would be getting the results. But at some point I had to say, it's a lie. It doesn't work. Yeah, because I'm a smart woman. I'll white knuckle it. I will push hard. I'm pretty tenacious. But then there's a point where you go, actually, this is the definition of madness, doing the same thing over and over and expecting the same result, which it gives you for a little bit, and then we revert right back again.
So it costs more. Healing isn't just thinking differently, right? Healing isn't just about, overcoming the past, but it's about helping your body feel safe again.
Yeah.
Allowing your body to feel safe again. We are inundated with information, which is why so many of us disassociate.
Yeah.
There's too much going on.
Yeah. This might be the next question that you're losing about feeling safe. So what's the most powerful ways to help women shift from self-criticism to self-acceptance? So even if I think about that, self-criticism to me, if we talk about safety in the body, you're actually not safe with me. Self-acceptance is a beautiful place where we become safer. So in terms of, I'm going to let you share. I don't know. Tell me, Elle, what is if we are going to dedicate some time to our body feeling safe, us feeling safe in our body, what does that look like?
Yeah. Well, a layer into that I would say self-reliance.
Oh.
Yeah. I was told a very long time ago, at the very beginning of my journey, my testimony is really quite long as to how I've ended up here, but I had a bit of a spiritual awakening in Boston, Massachusetts, of all places. And I remember being told by this, guru of sorts, that you needed two things in life: self-reliance and self-acceptance. And I have meditated on that throughout a lot of this healing journey of overcoming PTSD, of OCD, so many different labels that I've been given. So self-reliance, what does that look like? It's that ability to rely on ourselves. But then what does that look like? Yeah. So many people, I love Mel Robbins, where I don't really know the full concept, so I am going to get it wrong, but I know that she has different methods and, incredible insights. But one tool is about building that trust with self. Yeah. And if you say you're going to do something, go and do it. Now, that's not Mel Robbins. That's every, personal development person in the past. But she does have a technique of like the 5-second rule. If you say you're going to do something, give yourself 5 seconds and just do it. And so that could be, okay, I'm noticing that I'm feeling stressed. Oh, I should just go and have a shower. But then we sit and we stay on our phone. We're losing that trust with ourselves when we say, okay, in the morning, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to go and get outside and go for that beautiful walk along the beach. But then we snooze the alarm and stay in bed. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. I want to humanize it. I did that this morning. Last night, I was like, okay, I'm going to set my alarm for 6. I'm going to be up and walking, but like do my morning, reading and whatnot, get up and then go for a walk and be back by 8:30. I didn't. I slept in. Yeah, but that's okay. I didn't beat myself up because I didn't do the thing, but I acknowledged, oh, that's not a way to build trust with yourself. Yeah, I didn't beat myself up because I didn't do it. Yeah, I acknowledged, okay, the plan didn't go to pass. Well, that space I've now will make up this afternoon. Yeah, I won't go to bed until I've done the things that I need to do. And that's, yes, it may not go the way that you think it will, right? But it's making a commitment to yourself. So practical tools, self-havening. Go and jump on my YouTube video, have a look on it. It's a wonderful, incredible tool. Somatic awarenesses. Again, what am I needing right now? Am I needing just a glass of water? Do I need to place my hand on my chest and just take some deep breaths in and out? Is there an emotional release that needs to happen here? Or do I need to process something with journaling or speaking kind to ourselves? Our mind doesn't care if what we tell it is true or false. It's going to believe it. So, this morning in my experience, I could have beaten myself up for not going and doing the thing, oh, you may as well just stay in bed now. See, who are you to do that, whatever. But if I realistically float above myself, I've just had 3 weeks away. I haven't been at home. My dog has really missed me. There's a part of me that's just really wanting to be in my own space right now. So I can tell myself that, and that feels really light. Or I can tell myself that I'm stupid, that I'm fat, that I'm ugly, that I'm not lovable, that I'm lazy, I could go down that route. Is there any benefit to that? There's not. So it's about setting those boundaries with self-love and to what that looks like. It's saying no without guilt. It's prioritizing rest. It's protecting our peace. So therefore we can really put our nervous system health at the forefront of our lives, where healing again is returning to self. It's not fixing something. We are not broken beings. We have broken mindsets. We have broken beliefs, but we are not broken as in sense of we can't come back from those things. So understanding that mind-body connection, you can actually start to experience true peace, true presence, true self-love. I love the word freedom. And I think for a long time, we've had this belief of like freedom is like long-haired hippies out the window doing the peace sign. And, that like we're living this freedom lifestyle. But the actual meaning of freedom is to not feel imprisoned or enslaved. And so when we're looking for freedom from within, which is essentially another verb for healing, is that we don't want to feel imprisoned or enslaved. Yet how many people feel imprisoned and enslaved by their body, by culture, by food? It's a very complex topic that we're delving into.
Even that freedom, self-imposed rules that we've put on ourselves, there's no freedom in that. You've given me a new layer today, Elle. Thank you. So I always say, I'm having a lovely aha moment. I always say it's really hard to go from self-loathing to self-love. And I always say self-acceptance is a great place to land. Maybe you'll never get to self-love. That's the goal, but maybe self-acceptance. But self-reliance is another place we could land, and that's self-reliance. Because when you were talking through, I was going, okay, self-reliance, rely on myself, but it's not breaking promises to yourself. And I feel like that self-reliance and self-acceptance almost dance together. With your example you gave this morning, you accepted where you're at, going, I've chosen not to go. I needed a little bit more sleep. And when you feel into that, you go, because I've been away 3 weeks, and this is a reasonable place of self-acceptance to land. And I had to rely on myself to know what I needed. Because back to the question, what do I need right now? Even though when you went to bed last night, you thought you needed to wake up to an alarm, but you actually didn't.
Mm.
And I love how you said, but before the day's out today, the walk will still happen.
Yeah, yeah. And also, I wouldn't do that every day. When that's into every day, then yes, there is a problem. Now, I still went for a walk. I've got a dog. I needed to go and let him do his business. I came home, and instead of having a 1.5 or 1 hour outside, I got on the rebounder. Yeah. And I did 15 minutes on the rebounder. Mini trampoline, people call it different things, right? So I got the lymphatic system happening, and where what I thought was going to be a walk turned into something different. But I don't want to do that every day, because I don't want to be compromising on what I'm saying I'm going to do. One other thing I'd love to just mention is that sometimes when we look at things, we can, we don't want to be selfish. Yeah. We don't want to be selfish in our actions. We also then don't want to be selfless, because we want to have boundaries. But we go between these two things, putting other people first, putting ourselves first, doing everything for everybody else and not doing anything for anybody else because we're resenting them and we've not taken care of ourselves. And it's like that balance beam, that self-loathing to self-love. But what if we could be self-full? That we can swing either way, where we can be a little bit selfish, we can be a little bit, selfless and take care of other people because we're compassionate, empathetic beings. But it's about meeting in that middle again, which again is the self-acceptance. Self-loathing, self-love, self-acceptance. Okay, can I accept that right now I need to put other people's needs before me? If you've got an unwell child that you need to stay home and take care of, that's a reality.
Yeah.
Accept that reality. Do your best in that reality. Tell yourself that you're doing your best with the circumstances that are being met. We're told in this healing journey, if our parents knew better, they would have done better. Everybody was doing the best with the resources and knowledge that they've had at the time. That's a huge revelation that I think everybody on a healing journey has. But at what point do we recognize, hindsight, I'm doing the best with the research and the knowledge and the information that I have in this moment. And if I knew better, I would be doing better. So am I going to do better? Well, I need to go out and find either the people that can support me, the podcasts that I can listen to, the summits that I can attend, in order for me to recognize how I can be doing better in this moment. And then will I accept that I'm doing the best with what it is that I have, the knowledge and the research that I know to be true.
It is great realization, but I think this is a new piece. Is this, relying on self is brilliant. Yeah. And I love how there was more to that story too this morning. You still relied on yourself. You trusted yourself. You still got on the rebounder. Yeah, there's always more to that, because that's a great, being in great what I'm hearing there is that's being in great relationship with self.
I still want to get my walk in, because I want the vitamin D from the sun, and I want the magnesium from the salt water, and I want just that down regulating time that I get when the sun is, starting to set, and I've got the natural red light coming in, because they are also our body doesn't know how to heal us. Nature, we get nurtured by nature, and so it's that component of having that, and different seasons are going to require different things.
Yeah. And that's knowing yourself really well. What you just described then, what you want is the beautiful salt water and the sunlight and all of that. But that's having a great relationship with your body, going, I still know that we need that today, and I will do that. And I feel that's the fine tuning of listening to oneself and what we need, without a doubt.
And knowing what we don't like, because if it's past 8 o'clock in the morning, I ain't going out in that sun.
Yeah.
I don't like the heat. I know I don't like gyms. Gym's not a place that I've gone through different seasons of it and really enjoyed it, but then I get to that place of like, no, this is actually not good for me. And so it's about working out what works for you. Find a style. I love my rebounder. I'm very new to it, but I love it because it's this fun activity that I get to do. It gets my heart rate up really quickly, gets the lymphatic system happening. And so it's a really enjoyable exercise for me. But the moment that becomes, not enjoyable experience, I'll find something different, and that's okay. It's okay to change.
Yes. Yes, it is. And that's having that lovely fine-tuned relationship with self that says, this is good for now. We'll enjoy it. What's here. The minute it's not, we'll find something else.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing. Our one more question. What advice do you have for someone struggling to embrace their body? What is your last little bit of pearls of wisdom before you tell us where we can find you?
Yeah. I would say incorporate affirmations into your life. Yeah. Before you go and do anything, incorporate affirmations. A process that I really love is just sitting down and write, I am, I believe, I choose, I allow, I accept, and just see what comes after that. And then for yourself, create affirmations that are going to work for you. If you don't know what they are, jump on Google, jump on ChatGPT, jump, on Pinterest, look up affirmations, find what resonates for you, and then put those affirmations in different places. For me, I have them in the shower. I stand there in the shower and I haven them in. I've gone through seasons of having them on my phone. My favorite affirmation is, I am full of sparkle. To you, that may not mean anything. To me, it means everything. And so it's about finding things that will resonate for you, that will lift you up. And even press record on your phone and record yourself saying them, listen back to them, fall asleep to them. For our mind learns by repetition. So that's why affirmations are so powerful. How did you learn the alphabet? You repeated it so many times. How does a child learn to spell their name? They repeated it many, many times. If I came to you and said, Emma, your name is Sarah, you would say, no, it's not. And I'd say, yes, it is. And you'd say, no, it's not, it's Emma. I'd say, how do you know that it's Emma? It was given to me. I was told it. Yeah. So if you've had people in your life that have tried to tell you different things about yourself, you've believed them, but they're not true. Yeah. Some people would even argue that your name's not even Emma, right? Like, you can take it as far as you want. But let's be realistic. Your name is Emma. There's a piece of paper somewhere that states that. Unless there isn't, and you do have a different name, right? but for us, we know these things. Everything's arguable, see?
Yeah.
And the brain will argue it and go, well, how do I know that my name's, that? We all have an identity issue at the moment. Everything, if you break a lot of things down, it comes down to identity. Yeah. And we're seeing it in such vast, dramatic ways right now. We're not going to get into that. But even when you looked in the mirror in your 30s and you didn't like what you saw, that was an issue with your identity. And your identity are the words of I am. I am. And so what flows after that? If it's I am not good enough, I am fat, I am ugly, I am worthless, I am unlovable. Well, it's time to change those. And it might not be changing it to I am enough, I am worthy, I am, healthy. The brain's going to go, no, you're not, right? Just like your name isn't Sarah. It will reject it. But if you were to tell your mind, well, what if I am enough? What if I am lovable? We start to shift that identity, because identity is wrapped up on the foundation of I am, and us confirming that and having the world confirm that. That's where I love havening comes in. You add it. What if I am enough? 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 What if I am lovable? What if I am lovable? You do that every day, you change your mind very, very quickly. We still learn at the rate that the child learns the alphabet. So have patience. Be kind.
Yeah.
You wouldn't tell a child if they were to go A, B, F, K, L, M, D. You'd go, yay, good job, right? And then you'd be like, hee, 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 right? Keep practicing. Let's go again, right?
Yes.
So will we show ourselves that level of compassion?
That is beautiful. I do love affirmation. I loved how you said too there, Al, there's the I am, I believe, I choose. Because when you were talking through the I am, what if I am enough? Even choice for me just then, just saying I choose feels very freeing. I choose to believe today I'm enough.
Yeah.
Like it feeling like there's a choice in that just that little wording there just freed out for me to say, I thought, oh, choose is a great one. I choose.
Yeah. I choose to believe that I'm enough in this moment.
Yeah.
I choose to give my body permission to feel safe. I choose to give my body permission to feel safe. I choose, and then it does, the brain will automatically go, well, I just chose it. So my body does feel safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we're priming the mind. Just like we would if, a child was playing with a sharp knife, and it didn't want to let it go, we'd entice it with something different, get out of danger. So, entice your mind with something that's going to work for it.
Yeah, love that. Thank you, Elle. Now, Elle, please share with everyone where we can find you, even though in the show notes I'm going to have all of your details, but can you just share where you are? You are on the Gold Coast, but I know you also do sessions over Zoom. So are you happy just to share where people can find you and what you've got happening and coming up with your training and all of that? Please share away.
Yeah, super. So you can find me Burleigh Heads on the Gold Coast. And it depends on when you're listening to this, but I've been in practicing from Burleigh for quite a while now, and anywhere online as well. So I have a practice globally that I can work with clients via Zoom. And then, my trainings are run out of, I'm a founder of the House of Delta. So you can find me up either way, houseofdelta.com, ellouisemcbride.com, and Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all of the places. And I really aspire just to educate people. My mission is always, can this content help one person or 1 million? And I'm very honored to get to do what I get to do and train people, not just to be practitioners of this modality, but also to train them to use it for themselves, their family, their children. So yeah, it's very wonderful.
Thank you, Ellen, for all of our beautiful ladies listening. I believe havening is a great supportive modality for creating this beautiful relationship with ourselves. It is such a beautiful technique. So thank you, Elle. Really appreciate you being here.
Thank you.